Hello and welcome to Aaron Shack Politics. We're looking at an article from Newsweek. This map shows where states where boycotting Israel is illegal. Amid ongoing pro-Palestinian protests at different college campuses in the U.S., a number of states have previously passed legislation essentially making it illegal to boycott Israel. Now that sounds a little silly because you're kind of free to do whatever you want. So what does this really mean? Because, like, if I know that Starbucks and McDonald's and Burger King and Coca-Cola are all either run by Zionists or people that give money to Zionist organizations back in Israel, maybe because the owners might be Jewish or something, and nothing against the fact that they're Jewish, but I think when you choose to support Zionism, you are supporting evil. You are supporting the genocide. So, pretty easy for me to cut out all that stuff. Most of that stuff's not good for you anyway, and it's filled with all sorts of poison and chemicals and stuff that either makes you obese or gives you cancer or is just not good, nourishing food. So in recent weeks, pro-Palestinian protests have broken out at colleges like Columbia, Northwestern, and University of Southern California and George Washington University. Columbia protesters set up a Gaza solidarity encampment with supporters of the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, calling on the school to divest from Israel, which is something that the school was very adamant about not doing. And it's really weird that a school like Columbia would be like sending resources to Israel. Like, that to me is just insane. Um, so of course, after October 7th, tensions got really high. This article is from April 29th of 2024. So let's dive in. So several U.S. states have passed legislation that bars state agencies from working with and investing in companies that boycott Israel and or support the BDS movement. So that's kind of weird. It's not that you as a free person aren't allowed to. It's like if you have a business or like a state agency or these companies, if you were to have some sort of company that people were working and investing in. Let's say the state of Texas was investing into your invention that you make. Maybe you make electric cars, or maybe you make something else, and you said, "Oh, I support Palestine." They would be like, "Oh my God, no, we can't work with you." So the states have passed legislation making it illegal for state agencies to work with these companies. The boycott Israel include Texas, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Florida, Arizona, Georgia, Iowa, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arkansas, Minnesota, Nevada, South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Oklahoma, Kansas, North Carolina, Utah, Missouri, Idaho, West Virginia, Colorado, Mississippi, and New Hampshire. These states are shaded in red on the map. So, for example, in Indiana, the state Senate passed legislation in 2016 calling for mandatory divestment by state agencies from any company involved in, quote, the promotion of activities to boycott, divest from, or sanction Israel, the Jewish Virtual Library states. A number of states also passed similar anti-BDS executive orders. New York, Maryland, Wisconsin, Louisiana, Kentucky, and South Dakota. Those states are shaded in pink, and I'll show you the map here in a minute. In Alaska, an administrative order was signed by Governor Mike Dunleavy this year, directed state agencies to halt business transactions with entities who endorse a boycott of Israel, the Jewish Virtual Library states. And so let's take a look at the map right here. So yeah, I guess, freedom of speech, freedom of, all these companies to believe in what they believe in and support what they want to support. When it comes to certain things, these states will have restrictions on that. So not very much, not as free of a country as you might think that we live in. So let's get to the critics of it. Critics of anti-BDS laws like the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, say that these laws, quote, are not designed to prevent discrimination In fact, they're designed to discriminate against disfavored political expression. So it's not like, hey, we made these laws to prevent you discriminating from Israel. It's like they're designing these because it is disfavorable to not fully ally with Israel, even though they're committing genocide, even though they're starving men, women, and children. You should always be on their side, right? Isn't that insane? So, refusing to purchase consumer goods and services to protest a country or company's actions is not denying anyone access to public accommodations based on who they are. It's classic political expression protected under the First Amendment, the ACLU states. That's where anti-BDS laws go wrong. They expressly target boycotts of companies operating in Israel or Israeli settlements because the government disapproves of the boycott's message of protest against Israel. Now, the way I see it, the BDS law, or the BDS itself, the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions Against Israel, has chosen a lot of things. They've chosen companies that are in Israel, operating in Israel, and directly involved in genocide, like weapons manufacturers, Intel making the microchips that go into the GPS that goes into the missiles, stuff like that, right? And they were pressured, Intel was pressured so much from boycotts of their products that they shut down their warehouse that was in Israel. So don't for a second think that boycotting doesn't work. And same with Coca-Cola and McDonald's and Starbucks especially. They've closed locations all throughout the Middle East, all throughout the world, and they're feeling the pressure even in the States. So if you're like, man, I wish there was something I could do, I can't really donate money, and we're seeing that the aid is obviously being burned and destroyed and stuff like that by Israel, not just by like, oh, hey, like once we try to bring it into Gaza, it gets looted. It's like, no, it's Israel that's actively destroying aid as well. So you have that to worry about. So if you're wondering how you can help, it's a simple thing. Just don't go eat at shitty places that serve you shitty food and shitty coffee. It's really that easy. You can make better coffee at home. You can get a French press. You can get your own grinder and grind up the beans yourself if you want to. You could get coffee machines to do the work for you, and you'll save a lot of money as well, and you'll get better coffee at the end of the day. And same with hamburgers, man. Nothing's better than like fresh cooked meat, either from the farmers, from the grocery store, head to a farmer's market or something like that. Get fresh food that way, instead of eating the shovelware, non-biodegradable crap that McDonald's and Burger King serve you. So don't fund the Zionist agenda. Don't give money to these evil folks. And this, to me, is despicable that they're setting up these laws to try to prevent. This law just makes people think that it's illegal to boycott, but it's not. This is really just making less incentive for companies and people at companies or in state agencies to take any sort of stance, which usually when you work for the government, you really can't say a lot about your personal views. You have to be very private about stuff like that, unless you're like actively in politics and it's important to voice those things. But this is where we are. So keep doing the boycotting, and if you need to see more, you can go to the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions site. It is bdsmovement.net, and I will drop a link in the description down below. And they have all the details you need, all the questions, all the latest articles, and they tell you all the ways that you can get involved. There's all sorts of different boycotts that you can look into, and just kind of choose the way that you can have the most action, because it's like, while you can't boycott like the companies that make elevators or something, you can certainly boycott the companies that are actively giving the IDF free food, like McDonald's. They just roll up and give everybody Happy Meals and stuff. So you can be active in this and you can actually make a difference. So don't give up. A little change goes a long way, and they're feeling the pain, and they should feel it a lot worse because this is pure evil to ally with Israel in this sense. So take care, be safe. We'll see you on the next one.